One last question for you then before we wrap things up today, which is the word on everyone's lips right now is AI, particularly ChatGPT, digital tools. And I'd imagine, coming from a theatrical background, you have some very specific, strong feelings on the subject and how it's used and trained. With the rise of AI, what do you think leaders should be doing now to make sure that their communication evolves to come in line with that AI? Like, what are the pitfalls that you'd like to see them avoid, and how can they really excel at what they're doing?
Don't forget, yes, and. So what I'm seeing happening is what happens in my own team. I have a whopping 4 employees. And so I give an assignment, and Wendy, she's in San Francisco. She's my steerer of the ship. She hands the thing back to me and I say, "Oh, you used ChatGPT for this, didn't you?" And she said, "How'd you know?" ChatGPT is wonderful and I want you to continue to use it. Yes, and. And when Wendy's on her A game, she takes the ChatGPT and Wendy's it up and she adds that humanity. So even though that's a simplistic example, that's the answer to your question. Human beings, I believe, and call me naive, will never go out of style. We were always going to be needed. That's my passionate belief. And if we reject technology under some provincial thing that no one is better than a human being, well, how silly is that? I wouldn't even find my way from here to my next gig. I use technology all the time. Look what we're doing right now, the magic of speaking across the pond like this. So it's yes and. How do we embrace all the new technology and always, not sometimes, always dose it with humanity? How can you create recipes that include the technology and the humanity to give you your distinct voice? Now, in order to do that, you need to know what your core values are. You need to know what your super objective is. What are you, why are you on this earth? What is the difference you want to make? And then that's what you inject in the human being. If you have people who know how to use the technology and insert their personality as well, think about that dynamic recipe you have for success. So I'm all in. I'm not, technology is certainly one of my weakest things. And you always have to know what you're weak at so that you have other people helping you. And I do, and I embrace the technology. I embrace that I need to know more and I use it to make me better, never deleting me. I never want to remove me from the recipe. You and your best day, from me, my brand is me. And that's why it's kind of circular. And I know you did this on purpose because you're so brilliant. That initial conjecture you had about people rejecting and want to have their own brand. If you don't understand what you stand for, how do you know how to modulate technology? If you don't know who you are, then the technology is going to take you over rather than you're embracing the technology and using it to augment you. Make sense?
It's a